Hi friends, it's Mrs. Bishop and I am in our beautiful library here at Mount Scott. I'm so excited to be able to be reading you more stories. And I thought about this and I get to see you in class, and now I'm going to be doing 2 online a week for you, and I'm going to be reading the Serendipity books. Now remember friends, we talked about this last year. I read you 2 books. One was Serendipity and the other one was Morgan and You. And they call them the Serendipity books because they are a big group of books that are produced, or author and the illustrator, by Robin James and Stephen Cosgrove. There they are. Now friends, I started these books when I did book fairs when I was an eight-year-old, so a 3rd grader. And they have a whole big series of them. They did a ton of them. And I ordered a bunch of them for Mrs. Bishop to have because I loved them. And that is what I'm going to be doing every week for you. So, remember, like I said, we read Morgan and You. I'm going to be reading at some point the follow-up. This actually talks about how Morgan became a unicorn, and then Morgan and Me, as well as Serendipity. Remember, Serendipity became the protector of the oceans, and I'm going to be reading a follow-up to that called Captain Smudge, so that will be fun to see what that is. But this week, friends, I'm going to be reading Leo the Lop and Leo the Lop, Tale 2. And then next week, I'll be reading Leo the Lop, Tale 3, and also Grandpa Lop. So, friends, here we go, and I'm going to be going off with Leo the Lop. You can see that it says a Serendipity book because they're the Serendipity series. And it says dedicated. Now, a lot of times, friends, you'll see at the beginning of books, the authors will say who they want this book to go to, why they were inspired to write this book. And it says dedicated to Wendy James, the memory of the real Leo the Lop and a filly called Flutterby. Ooh, little note, Flutterby is another book in the Serendipity series. All right, friends, I'm going to show you the picture. I'll bring that in. Oh, look at all those bunnies. My goodness, so here we go. In a warm, gentle corner of a soft green forest, a whole bunch of bunnies were born. There were so many baby rabbits you almost wouldn't believe it. There were white ones, brown ones, even some with spots, and every one of them had little pink nose, fluffy white tail, and 2 pointed ears that stood straight up in the air. All of them except Leo the Lop. Oh, doesn't he look sweet? I would love to have him. Now, it wasn't that Leo didn't have a little nose or a fluffy tail, for he did. What he didn't have were ears that stood straight up in the air. Instead of standing up, they hung straight down. That really didn't matter to Leo because he thought he was just as normal as could be. Besides, he couldn't see his ears anyway. Day by day, as the rabbits got older, they began to notice that Leo was slightly different. The more they looked at him, the funnier it seemed, and it got so bad that the entire burrow of bunnies would roll on the ground, holding their sides in fits of laughter every time Leo walked by. Oh, friends, how do you think that made him feel? You've got to admit that a rabbit walking around with his ears dragging in the dirt is pretty funny. I think he's feeling kind of sad about that. Now Leo was very confused. He didn't see anything so funny about the way he looked. His fur was the same. His tail was the same. As far as Leo was concerned, he was perfectly normal. Finally, out of frustration, he asked, "How come you guys are always laughing at me?" For a moment, the other rabbits tried to be serious, but they just couldn't hold back the laughter. And one of the rabbits finally blurted out, "Your ears, you dope! They drag on the ground! You just aren't normal." Leo looked down, and sure enough, there were his ears dangling in the dust. Oh, that wasn't very nice, was it? I guess Leo was kind of hurt. Oh, I would be too. He really didn't feel any different than the other rabbits, but because his ears hung down instead of up, he just wasn't normal? He thought. All I need to is exercise a little bit, and my ears will stand up just like all the normal rabbits. So with that in mind, he struggled and he strained, trying to make them stand up. Oh, stand up, stand up, stand up. Unfortunately, the best he could do was to get them to stick straight out. And he could do that for only a minute. Then no matter how hard he tried, they would flop right back to the ground in a puff of dust. Oh my goodness, what is he up to now? Well, thought Leo, that didn't work. Maybe if I show my ears which way to go, they'll get the idea and they'll do it on their own. That's clever, huh? Very carefully, he climbed a tree, and after cautiously hooking his hind legs around a branch, he dangled over upside down, and sure enough, his ears hung straight down. Leo must have hung that way for nearly an hour when a voice made him look around. What you doing that for? Asked the voice. Leo looked around, and there, right before him, hanging from another branch, was a possum. Well, said Leo, feeling a little foolish, I'm hanging upside down so my ears will learn which way they're supposed to go so I can be a normal rabbit. What's normal? Asked the possum. Before, when I saw you on the ground, your ears looked normal. Now, they look, well, upside down. Leo thought, and you know, he didn't have an answer. Oh, he looks kind of happy now, huh? Okay. So, with a flip, he dropped to the ground. He thought, if my ears going down are normal, then the other rabbits with their ears going up aren't normal. And the more he thought about the other rabbits, the funnier it became. And with a laugh and a giggle, he raced off to tell them what he had discovered. In bursts of laughter, he told the other rabbits what he had found out. At first, they didn't know whether to believe him. And then they started to look at one another and realize that Leo could be right. Oh dear, what are we going to do? Cried the rabbits. I've got an idea, said one of the rabbits. And he picked up 2 big rocks, and with some twine, he tied them to the ends of his ears. And sure enough, with all that weight, his ears began to droop lower and lower until they finally reached the ground. Seeing his success, the other rabbits ran around picking up rocks and tying them to their ears. I don't think that's going to be quite successful. What do you think, friends? Everything would have been all right except for one small problem. The rocks and ears kept getting all tangled up in the tails and feet till all was a big confusion, with bunnies lying in a big, dusty heap. This isn't going to work, they said. There has got to be a better way. Maybe, said a little furry bunny, if we showed our ears the way that they should be normally, they would go that way naturally. So they all very carefully climbed a tree, and after tying their ears to the branch, they gently hooked their legs down, and sure enough, every one of those bunnies' ears hung up instead of down. They must have hung that way for a long time when a voice made them look around. "What you doing that for?" They looked, and right before them, hanging from a branch, was the very same possum. "Well," they said, feeling a little silly, "we're hanging this way so our ears will be normal, just like Leo's." "What's normal?" asked the possum. "Before, when I saw you all on the ground, your ears looked normal. And now they just look upside down." They all thought, and they couldn't answer that question either. Carefully, they untied their ears and flip-flopped to the ground below. The rabbits thought and thought. If we're normal and Leo is normal, then normal is whatever you are. With a hop and a giggle, they raced off to tell Leo what they had learned. And after listening to their story, Leo had to agree that normal is whatever you are. And from that day forward, the rabbits of the burrow lived very normal lives in the soft, warm forest. So, if you are a rabbit and your ears go up or down, try to remember Leo and the lesson that he found. Now, Leo did still have one small problem left. Oh, no. His ears always drooped in his soup. And I hope you enjoyed that, friends. I would love it if you would answer the question of who and what you think was your favorite character. Was it Leo? Was it the possum wondering what was going on? Or was it all the bunnies who came to the understanding that, it doesn't matter how we look or what we do. It's our choice to be that way. And it's okay. All right, friends. Have a great day.